think what we were concerned about was that there had been some spending, and we were concerned there would be more spending outside of our policies. And we are still building on the trust factor, and would like to get there. So if I could, I would like to go with your budget, except for the salaries, the administrative fees and salaries. I would still like to keep that at $144,595. And my concern about that is overtime. And there's ways to avoid overtime by flexing and rearranging schedules. So we could avoid overtime. And am I right? I did hear that the ABC administrator you weren't going to take a salary for that. Did I hear that? Or are we still?
She advised the ordinance says that there's a salary.
I'm sorry, I can't.
The ordinance states that there's a salary for the ABC administrator. And on June 6, 2019 at 3 p.m., the ABC Summit Director Stephanie Stumble advised that the new tax laws that was being established is the revenue for the ABC administrator can only be used for the ABC administrator. So that will be going into effect as soon as we can. Also, as far as we talked about with the procurement policy, the Kentucky League of Cities handbook advised $20,000. And as a new mayor, you know, the only thing that has been purchased with my executive order is the vehicle, which was $14,500. So other than that, is there anything else that you can think of that has been spent?
Yeah, there was flooring for
You approved that, the council approved about the floor.
We didn't.
Yes, ma'am.
We were not told of how much it was going to cost until after it was down.
Yeah, I didn't know what we were gonna get, if it was gonna be carpet or hardwood floor or anything. I know we said, yes, this carpet is nasty, which it was. But I've learned a lot being on council that you ask questions. And I didn't ask a question like, okay, how much are we gonna spend? And what type of flooring is it gonna be? And I think as for the ABC money that they receive for the sale of liquor and all this other kind of stuff, that can be used for law enforcement also.
Law enforcement, ABC.
And I'm still willing to do the ABC for free, where we could use the money from the sale of alcohol can go towards.
And that's what I was basing it on, because we had somebody volunteer to do that for free.
I'm going to do the ABC administrator. I've already done the training. In the beginning of the year that you all had advised that you wanted me to do that position.
We can change our
And
mind.
I'm going to keep that position.
You can change our mind, Mayor.
Well, later on, you might have to. Okay.
So I would like to, if we're finished discussion, I would like to make a motion. Can I do that?
Yeah, I need a motion to approve the budget.
Okay.
Which one?
I would like to make a motion to approve the amendment amounts submitted by council, except for the health and dental. I didn't realize that was going to be more. The attorney, I think $10,000 is reasonable on that, and that was in our last budget. So you made an agreement there outside of the budget. So I don't know what to tell you about that. The accounting services, we need to leave that. If that's what they're going to bill us, that's what we're going to have to do, because we've been with them. You can keep the code enforcement committee if that's what you need for that. The insurance, it has to be paid. The dues and subscriptions, this is all in my motion. And the fees, you need those. And the laptops, if you need those. I'm sure you do.
The 3,500 amount? For the laptops?
Yes. I would like to, also, keep the sanitation at 100,000. But on the public works, I don't think we should put 81,000 dollars in there for Oakwood until we know how much it's gonna cost and how much we, are gonna get with grant money. We can amend that. I'm not saying I don't wanna do it. I'm just saying we can amend that when we, know how much money we're gonna
That gets us started July 1st, to have that in there, we may need that.
Yeah, we'll put it back in, and after we have to get bids and everything on it anyway. So
We need,
we'll have plenty of time to do that. So that is my motion. And
Is there any way we can get something written? Is there any way we can get something written down so we can see it in front of us, all the numbers? I don't know how long that would take. I know that would mess up things on the meeting tonight unless everybody was able to write down what Jennifer just said for the budget.
well, Miss Megan, Megan can make a copy of what she has. Here's what I need tonight. I need a motion to approve the budget that Megan and I have proposed and move forward. We can drag it out, we can go with last year's budget, but we need a motion to move it forward.
I just made a motion. I believe I have.
The
a
mayor's
motion.
proposed budget needs to be, are
Okay.
we making a motion for the
Okay.
mayor's proposed budget?
Okay, I'm not making that motion.
Anybody else?
I make a motion.
Do we have a second for the proposed budget? Folks, you got a treasurer here that's been here 19 years and she knows what she's doing. I ask that you respect that.
We don't have any problem with the treasurer.
I didn't say you had a problem with the treasurer. You have a problem with the proposed budget that she's relating to you. No second, we'll fall back on the last year's budget.
No, I want to bring a motion.
Last year's budget.
No, my motion is to, I'll go over it again. On page 1, we increased the sanitation to $100,000 from our council proposal. Keep that at $100,000, the way Megan had it. That's the only change that I'm in agreement to there.
Yeah, make sure you say the page number and the line item, please,
Okay,
Jennifer, when you're doing
it's
something.
page number and line item number 18. On the, we'll go to the second page for the general government figures. We need to keep the administrative fees and salaries at $144,595. That's line number 3.
You're in violation of the ordinance.
We need to keep keep Megan's numbers for the health and dental. The advertising, go ahead and keep that. The accounting services, let's make that, it's 15,000. Sounds like it's gonna be about 15,000. The legal services, 10,000, keep that.
So will you all amend that later on?
Not sure, that's up to the council. The engineering fees, I guess we better go ahead and increase those.
To
10,000, you think it'll be 10,000, okay. 10,000 on that. Did you say the utilities were covered there?
The utilities as of June 6th were $36,700.83. And I always try to project more due to the fact we don't know if we'll have a cold winter or anything like that, than heating bills.
I'm fine with that if that money doesn't get moved to another line item. The Code Enforcement Committee, you've already spent, you said $400?
By the time they have their meetings, it'll be $400 within a year, for the whole year. If not more, if they're having to have hearings.
Let's make that 600.
Can we hold right there for a second? If, what was gonna run the bill up to 3,000? What would, just a ballpark, I'm not gonna hold you to anything, but just what would run that up to 3,000?
I didn't know how many hearings or anything they would have like that. Every time they meet, they get paid $25. So with it being a new thing, we didn't know how many hearings or anything like that, because
Okay.
it's entirely new.
Okay.
The communications and postage, go ahead and keep that at the 7,000 because we probably are gonna have the increases with the code enforcement. And the insurance, you said it was $20,808?
Yes.
Let's keep that, make that
What
20.
number, Jennifer?
Number 15. Let's just make it $20,808.
I think there's some change to it too.
Okay, let's make it 21,000. The office expenses, we shouldn't have as much this year because a lot of that from last year was remodeling, right?
That's $6,542. That was from June 30th, 2018.
Yes.
So that was not included in the remodeling. That was for the year before.
Yes, right. But, so why do you think you need 7,500?
I just put extra money in there because you all had expressed concerns for microphones at one time.
Oh, I see.
Absolutely.
Do you want to keep it in there, guys?
I'd like to, because you use it for camera for the front line, you get a
Okay.
microphone too.
7,500, okay.
Can I explain something to council? That those microphones may be more than that. I've been working on getting those microphones, and they're anywhere from 10 to 20,000.
We would be willing to work with you on that if you'll work with us.
Sure.
Okay, so let's just keep it at 75, and then if we have to amend it, we can do that. The dues and subscriptions, I think you said we had spent $31,079 this year.
Yes.
So, you want to make it 32? 3,200, does that sound okay to everybody? And miscellaneous, you said that was Board of Adjustment and something else, I didn't catch that.
Not the miscellaneous. The miscellaneous is any kind of, anything we would need, like office, just any kind of supplies or anything that are just miscellaneous. So,
I would be in agreement to move that to 1,000.
Okay.
Everybody else okay with that? The fees. did
that
you-
is the lien fees and the fees for the Board of Adjustments.
And you think it would be 400?
That's just the estimate, yes.
Okay, all right,
Depends on how many meetings they have or liens and all that.
okay. And so training and education, we probably won't have very much of that this year. I'm thinking the 750 should be plenty. We don't have a lot of new council members. Exterminators is fine.
We did have, there's the possibility that we would have a new council member.
Yeah, I
beginning
saw that.
January 1st, 2020.
Yeah.
So that new council member will probably need, just so you know,
Yeah.
if there is a new council member, remember that this may need some training.
Yeah, how much is that training? Do you remember?
We pay for this, however much it is to go up there, then we get reimbursed for the hotel,
Yeah.
and then we reimburse for mileage. So I want to say it was around $200 just for the class
Mm-hmm.
and the hotel stay.
Do you think 750 would cover that?
It would probably cover I don't know if they'll have any kind of training for Wanda being code enforcement officer or anything like that, with her being newer to that job.
If everybody's in agreement, you want to make it 1,000?
How much did it cost when Jeff went to code enforcement school?
He never went.
Just a good thing.
Okay,
We do 1,000?
yeah. If you all are okay with it. The PBA payroll tax, is that,
I called up there and she hasn't, I talked to somebody, I didn't talk to Eli because he wasn't in, and they told me, they feel like it could be the same as last year, so probably 8,000 would be okay. I wanna say last year it was, around $7,600.
okay. Okay. As far as the copies go, you know, I wish we could make fewer copies by sending some things electronically. And that's part of my reasoning for thinking we probably make a lot of copies we don't need. Do you think we could decrease that to the 200 or?
Is that maintenance?
That's, yes, that's them coming out and doing maintenance on the copier, paying for the, toner and everything like that.
And they charge you by a number of copies?
Yes.
Yeah. What do you think?
What, 250?
We're small potatoes here, it doesn't matter.
250, okay, I just want to give her something.
Yeah.
That Northern Kentucky ad, I think that's correct. The sewer was okay, I think, you said it was okay.
I showed that we've already spent $9,823, and there should be 2 more payments that are $9,075 piece, or $975 piece.
Make it 11.5. 11.5, okay. Do you all want to keep the beautification program at 1,000, or do you want to increase that? It's up to council.
I like to keep it at 1,000 and see if in the future we can get like a Crittenden garden club that could, that's what they did at the Fort Wright, where they had people take care of plants and they beautified all the corners and this and that.
Okay,
They called it Green Hands Club.
okay.
So how much was that, did I say?
1,000?
Let's try 1,000.
The computer equipment, do y'all want to keep that at 35? I'm fine with that.
Also, we may need to raise that for the web design, Wilkins are working with that.
Well, when you get an estimate on that, we'll look at it. The planning and zoning is what it is, and the economic development. So with those changes and additions, I don't have that added up, but I would like to make a motion that we do those changes.
I'll second it.
Just a moment, just a moment. Another.
Sure. So the mayor is then asked me for my opinion as it pertains to ordinance number 249, 2016, which is the ABC ordinance. There is currently an ordinance that mandates that the ABC administrator has a salary. It's on the books. It's one that should, let's put it this way, not following your own ordinance is a problem. So there's really one course of action that have to be done. Either this is accounted for in the new budget or it's rescinded by way of ordinance.
Okay.
So that can be done. It just has to be, one way or the other has to be accounted for. So it's there, it exists, it's been, of course, it's been there since 2016. So I wanted to bring it to your all's attention.
Thank you, Alex, and I have discussed that with Pete, and we do have a plan to amend that ordinance in July.
And I would also say, everything Alex just said is certainly correct. The only thing I would add, because of the ordinance, because of the issue of the mayors and salaries when they're set, I spoke directly to KLC a couple of months ago when this was becoming an issue, and I realized what I'm getting ready to say is hearsay, but the word I got from KLC was that that is not something that they would look fondly on. That they don't want to see a situation where mayors come in at a salary and then they start wearing new hats and increasing their overall salary. That was the explanation response I got from
That's what I was
KLC.
going to.
And we kind of set this, the issue got set aside for a while as we got good involved with other issues, so.
That wasn't the case at the ABC summit, Pete.
I
You had
wasn't-
several mayors there, I'm telling you about, because I was there, you had several mayors that this is something, this tax to refer back to with that salary. And it's a separate line item, it's not going into the general fund.
I'm not disputing any part of what you just said as far as new law. I'm just relaying the response I got from Morgan Patterson and KLC.
In the position is that I'm not gonna take a policy decision on, it's not my fight, nor do I care to get involved in it. There is an ordinance that requires that allocation, so it has to be addressed one way or the other. If you create a budget that doesn't plan for it, you just have to recognize it has to come out once you've reached it. And at the tip, you have to, on the top of the ordinance, as far as whatever's allocated, you then have to have an emergency to continue paying bills. Or you rescind the ordinance, which is certainly within your purview. Bear in mind that the mayor does have veto powers. So you would have to have essentially near unanimous support across the council to almost near unanimous to be able to rescind the ordinance. So it's something that should be contemplated. I'm not telling you that you're allocating specific dollar amounts in various budgets. So at some point, it's going to be, whatever that is, $10,000, $15,000 short. So just please bear in mind, okay?
You're right, ordinances are important to follow, just like job descriptions and just like policy manuals. If we have a policy manual and it says that this is what's going on, or this is their job description, and the current one doesn't say anything about sewer lines or water lines, you have to go, policies, job descriptions are important, but we have to follow across the board.
Well, asking a question of the attorneys, and I think our intention was to amend that, but about 3 meetings ago, that ordinance was tabled by Paula, and we voted to do that. I don't know what implication that has, but it was officially tabled, and that was in the meeting minutes.
Can I ask you to be specific as to what ordinance or motion was tabled?
The EBC.
As far as segment
Was
A?
it in the minutes? I don't think it made the minutes.
Pretty sure it did.
I remember the discussion, I don't remember the outcome.
You mean there was a vote? A vote was taken?
I believe so.
I believe it was tabled.
I do know it was
That
tabled.
accurate.
I don't remember about the vote.
Well, if it's, I mean, if the vote was taken, then you rescind the ordinance, there'd be the ordinance prepared and signed off the mayor, or if not, after a certain period of time, of course, it becomes effective anyway. So it either was presented or wasn't to the mayor. I mean, I can't speak, I just wasn't there.
I think the issue was tabled. It was brought up, I believe, and again, my recollection may be,
It was tabled, I remember seeing it in the meeting.
Oh,
ABC.
yes, the ABC, oh,
The
okay.
ABC.
Okay, yeah.
The
When I had
salary,
the Charlie horse and was going, walking back and forth, yes, I made one of those motions.
the salary was taken. It was already an ordinance.
Right.
Well, we have a motion and a second on the floor.
Roll call?
Jennifer,
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
Dan,
Yes.
Arlene,
No.
Todd,
Yes.